My name is Bettina Ernst, Vice-President of the Swiss Biotech Association, CEO of BERNINA BioInvest. It's an enormous pleasure to have this distinguished panel with us after these brilliant talks we already have heard this afternoon. The topic of the session is that we will explore together how we can strengthen the life science ecosystem here in Hong Kong, the comparison between Hong Kong and Switzerland, many elements that we have already talked about, and identifying key enablers for talent, funding, commercialization, also subjects we already have touched, and then discuss the role of the government and how the government can best support this ecosystem. Andy, you want to start about yourself and Hong Kong Invest, for those that don't know you.
Okay, thank you, Bettina. So thank you, HKLSS, for the event, for organizing this event. My name is Andy Wong. I'm Head of Innovation and Technology from Invest Hong Kong. Invest Hong Kong is a government department. Our role is to helping to promote Hong Kong and also trying to attract foreign company from the mainland, company from overseas to come to set up operation in Hong Kong, business operation. And we have different sector, and I look after innovation in which biotech, life and health science is one of the key sector that we want to attract more company to help Hong Kong to build the economy for Hong Kong. No matter you are doing the R&D or manufacturing or trading, we are happy to support you. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. So my name is Anderson Shum. I think I'll share a few roles that I have. Currently, I'm a Vice President of Research in City University of Hong Kong. As many of you know, City University has been driving innovation and entrepreneurship tremendously. All the way from Hong Kong Tech 300 to, I think last year, we set up the Academy of Innovation, training next generation of entrepreneurs. And myself, I am a biomedical engineer working on droplet microfluidics for detection, for also on the soft matter, particularly aqueous phase separation systems. But that's more fundamental, but with a lot of potential to break new grounds in future. My other role is I was the founding director and now also co-director of the Advanced Biomedical Instrumentation Center in Hong Kong Science Park, which is a funded InnoHK Center between University of Hong Kong and Harvard Engineering, with partners from Cambridge, Technical University, Munich, and many other places. The goal is to work with our overseas partners to bring their technologies to Hong Kong and also work together to bring our technology overseas, coming more from an academic and research angle, trying to do a lot of things that we have proven scientifically in the lab and really bring the impact to the market through collaborations with academics, with industries, investors, and organizational partners like Hong Kong Life Sciences Society is a great partner. And then I'm also the president of the Hong Kong Young Academy of Sciences, which is a organization that's outside of the university. We don't belong to any university. We have members from all the universities in Hong Kong. All of our members are very young and already quite accomplished, going to be even more accomplished. I can say for our members that they are all the cream of the young academics with great drive and hope for academia in Hong Kong. Many of them also are involved in translation in industries. For example, we have one of the members during the sabbatical, he took up one of the associate directorship for one of the major mainland company in their Hong Kong Research Center, setting that up. So I think our members are all very interested in helping to take their scientific knowledge, academic knowledge to bring to the society the impacts that they can have. So just an introduction of my three roles.
I'm Grace Lau. I head the Life and Health Technology in the Hong Kong Science and Technology Park. So we're home to about 2,000 companies, from startup, very small ones, to small and medium size, and growing to be unicorns. So out of those 2,000, about 300 are biotech, which is in my area, and we are home to all the Inno Hong Kong centers and incubatees, growing companies, and I would simply say we are a super connector, not just an accelerator, because we bring companies or startup groups from universities, both in Hong Kong, China, and elsewhere, and then help them go through the ideation phase, just thinking about the business model, what they would want to do, and then welcome them into our incubation program, either as a non-biotech track or a biotech track, which we call IncuBio. And then they are welcome to stay in Science Park, but paying rent, and make use of our full facilities, core facilities, which are most needed by small startups in the biotech area. So we have genomic core lab, proteomic labs, all the very expensive instruments that are needed by biomedical startups. So these are the facilities we built for our incubators. And apart from that, there are other programs, funding ones, supporting them, like help them to go globalize, help them with regulatory advice, and go overseas to find their business opportunities and collaboration. So it's a one-stop shop for when you are small, up until when you graduate and become bigger and be able to go global. So I hope that that's in a very short description what Hong Kong Science and Technology Park does for the Hong Kong biotech ecosystem.
Thank you. So the first topic we want to discuss and look at is the state of the life science ecosystem in Hong Kong and in Switzerland. And Andy, this first topic I want to hand to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Mike. So when we talk about life and health science, I think we look at the ecosystem, right? So Hong Kong have the most of the key element in terms of the ecosystem. I think we have the professor in here, we have the science park, we have the investor. So I think we can see that we have a comprehensive. Talk about the academic, right? We have the top-notch university and 2 medical schools plus the other. I think right now the life and health science is not purely on the drug development, but also using AI. So it's a more combination of different subjects together. So that's why we need to cross discipline for the different discipline expert in order to get together to do that. And I leave it to Grace to talk about the science part, because science part definitely have the good platform for incubating the company all the way to mature to become a unicorn eventually, or IPO listing. And also the investor side, so we have the PEVC fund, and also maybe I talk more about the government. So from the government, we really put a lot of effort in building this ecosystem. Like the collaboration model, right? A couple of years ago, as Grace mentioned about the Inno Hong Kong, which is set up by the university in Hong Kong and also the other university over the world. So definitely we have a global collaboration, in particular certain subject, tapping into the talent that we have from the Hong Kong different university. And then we have the Genome Institute collecting 20,000 kind of genome whole sequencing. And happy to hear from Grace that we have expensive equipment, which means it's good quality equipment available in Hong Kong. So this is very important in terms of doing the research, I guess, right? So you have the good equipment, high quality, like the other days that we visit the Children's Hospital. And then when we visit the Children's Hospital, they bought a lot of high quality equipment in Hong Kong for doing the research. I think that's a very helpful to do the research in Hong Kong. And then that's why we have the hardware and the software, we have the people, and we have the funding, and also the government really support it. Before this event, I went to the Hong Kong Shenzhen Innovation and Technology Park, which is on the other side of the Hong Kong, which is very close to Shenzhen. And this is building another big park. Life and health science will definitely be one of the key elements that they want to focus and trying to build a bigger portion, and also tap into the GBA mentioned earlier, the 86 million population in the GBA, trying to work together in the same park so that we can do more clinical trial over there using the experience for the clinical trial experience in Hong Kong, also the patient recruitment in the Greater Bay Area. Maybe I just stop here.
Yes, thank you very much. Talking about clinical trial possibilities, more infrastructure, wonderful. So Grace, do you want to add something to what Andy already has said?
Apart from the hardware, the programs, etc., I think what Hong Kong needs and is offering is the good. When we talk about clinical trials, the other thing is downstream. So I think where you can make use of the good talents and set up to conduct clinical trial is it's basic, and we have that. But how can we make use of our system to launch new products? Because everybody in innovation, they want their product to go into the market. And if we are able to bring our innovation and stay in Hong Kong and be able to register, that's very important. So I think one other thing that we try to do is we encourage, or we submit our proposal to the government to build an institute that would help drive Hong Kong to be an international clinical trial center with our very good investigators and setups, and make use of our resources to strengthen that part. So that's one thing. The other thing is Hong Kong is still a secondary review country, if you're familiar with regulatory. We need US FDA approval. We need one other country's approval before we can somehow be able to launch a product in Hong Kong. We cannot say this is good, we've tested in Hong Kong and we can launch. So we also submit a proposal to make to encourage our government to start that journey to become an ICH member and be able to be a primary review country just like Switzerland. Because only by then you are able to launch your own innovative products in Hong Kong. So I think these two are on the way, not quite there yet, but I think we have paved the way for Hong Kong to be a really good place for biotech innovation.
Wonderful. Sounds excellent and very promising. So next question is actually to Eric. So Switzerland is known for its robust biotech and pharma sector. And what, in your view and in your experience, what were the key factors that we are a global leader in the space?
Yeah, thank you so much, Bettina. So I'm going to base my answer on two different experiences. Back 25 years ago, coming back from the US, with my family, decided to land in Geneva. And this is where we founded our first biotech company as a spin-off of University of Geneva. So basically, I will give you some background about what went super well in this experience, but also at HAYA. What you've seen in some of the slides here is we are receiving tremendous support from the Swiss government. For example, we have raised 4.6 million from InnoSwiss, directly from the Swiss government. So there is a good substrate in Switzerland that we hope potentially in Hong Kong we can learn some of those lessons. Now, one of the bad things is, when you fly in airplanes today, is that you have the Wi-Fi. So during the overnight flight, instead of sleeping, I was taking some notes about some of the lessons learned, about what some of the things we can apply, the key lessons we can apply from Switzerland to Hong Kong. Okay, so number one, the cluster strength, the cluster of the biotechnology. You need to raise to a certain level, a critical level of the mass, in order to have these hubs being linked to universities, startups, and pharma in particular. Targeted funding. This is extremely important. Developing biotech specialized VCs, and also public co-funding with in our case in Switzerland, InnoSwiss and VentureKick. University spins out. It's also extremely important. We have, for example, the ETH Zurich model, very famous worldwide. Regulatory clarity. This is also essential. Industry anchors. Okay, so I'm coming from Roche. We have also Novartis. We have a lot of big pharma in Switzerland. You need to attract global pharma R&D into the ecosystem to anchor the growth of the ecosystem, the biotech ecosystem. And the commercial infrastructure is also extremely important. Having this offer to wet labs, incubators, accelerators coming in. And I'm going to stop here. Oh, one more, incentive alignment, okay? Using tax incentives and IP policies to retain innovation and scale locally. These are lessons learned from Switzerland that we can use also here in Hong Kong.
Thank you, Eric. So overnight flights and short trips have their benefits.
And Wi-Fi.
And Wi-Fi. So, Emmanuel, as you know, we have here a company, HAYA Therapeutics, started successfully in Switzerland, is keen to move to Asia, meaning Hong Kong, China. What are your advice to a Swiss-based company?
I think first thing is set up a Hong Kong subsidiary. Set up something here so that we can work. We have something to work with, I think. And I really believe in first finding an anchor researcher in Hong Kong that is in your field that you can work with. Because a lot of the grants in Hong Kong, a lot of the infrastructure is still centered around the universities. And so having the right university partner that's localized to Hong Kong is going to be critical to any landing project. And then having that local PI also be a KOL for you in China. Because there's less of a barrier between a Hong Kong professor and then a mainland counterpart versus you all the way in Switzerland. And so I think finding your best local PI to best anchor your product or your program would be usually a fundamental first step. And from then on, we can do a lot. We can apply maybe through some sort of. I think it's different. How easy is it for these?
Apart from such a company, bring it to Science Park,
yes.
And then the rest will happen.
but what is the minimum requirement for a company like this coming into Science Park now?
You can come tomorrow. So honestly, Science Park, it's still it's funded by the government. So we do have admission process. It's just as long as you're doing real biotech research, that's fine. We would require you to be a Hong Kong registered company, one of your subsidiary, do a 3-year R&D plan. What are you planning out to do in the next 3 years with some milestone and business plan? How are you going to pay for your operation? And we do due diligence. Like we want to make sure that the company is actually doing work. But from your presentation and from read from your website, that should not be an issue. So we welcome foreign companies. Actually, we have about 26 different companies in Science Park currently. Of course, the majority are from Hong Kong and China.
And then join our accelerator program. Let us invest a little bit in you, and then we'll do all the paperwork for you.
Also, very concrete guidelines. Thank you. And I want to give the word
So I'm sorry to interrupt. The only thing is hiring the first employee in Hong Kong. Hire somebody. Talents is hear from biotech startups all the time. Hiring talent is really a very important thing. It's very challenging because
they're all here.
There are all
they're
out
here.
there. Yes, but I know that from big, Hong Kong centers or small biotechs, they're all hunting for talent. So any bringing your initial employee from your original setup, grounded here first, start recruiting. That would be really my advice.
So I want to give the word to Anderson and your perspective on the state of the ecosystem here in Hong Kong.
So I think Hong Kong is a very exciting place, but we have to admit that it's a very small place in terms of the market size and also in terms of land area as well. I think I saw from the comparison that Hong Kong, we have about 7.4 million people. Switzerland have about 8.8. So I mean, for engineers, they're roughly the same. But the land area, of course, in Switzerland is much larger. So I think what we can see, so in terms of the people, the population size, the market size, there's a lot for us to learn from Switzerland. I think for such a small place and small population like Hong Kong, we have to consider ourselves as a conduit, and that has been our role for many, many years. And for a conduit, I think I can think of two things that are most important. One is the flux, like the flow and the flux across this. So if that is large, that means lots of people, lots of technologies going through this conduit will mean that this conduit is effective. Another one is also the speed within this conduit. So I think the two things that we need to work on is how do we have more flow, two-directional flow, like Emmanuel also mentioned in his talk, bringing first of its kind, best of its kind from mainland China through Hong Kong out to the world, and also from the rest of the world through Hong Kong into mainland China. I think these are the key. So a lot of us, including Hong Kong Life Science Society, is working really hard to bring partners like Swiss Biotech Association to Hong Kong, and I think that's very important for making Hong Kong a more effective place for the world. Another thing is how do we speed things up within Hong Kong? Because I think for startups, for life science startup already would take a long time. And startup in itself has a high failure rate. And also if there are some unnecessary hurdles, you really hurt the startup. So how do we have mechanisms to speed things up? And I think, as Emmanuel also mentioned, universities are very important partners in Hong Kong because universities are somewhat neutral and super connected to many different important elements, including investors, industries, and talents, most importantly. And how we allow all of us to work together at the get-go of the project will determine how fast we can move.
Okay, thank you very much. So from your side, Andy, if you could suggest one key improvement to enhance Hong Kong life science ecosystem, what would it be? Short answer, one key improvement for the ecosystem in Hong Kong to improve, what would it be? Short answer.
I think for the life and health science, I think capital is very important. So, but unfortunately, the government do put a lot of effort, right? So I think we mentioned with Dr. Eric, the government have a lot of incentive, like the matching fund. So encourage more funding will be coming from the private and also from the government. But for the private sector, for people who are very dedicated for healthcare investment, it's not that many in Hong Kong. Okay. So you need the real expert to be able to invest. Yeah.
Okay. Expert and private investment and government together the right way into the sector. Short answer from your side, same question, key improvement, one key improvement in Hong Kong.
Talents around here. I think serial entrepreneurs, workers, and people who are proficient in both the science and technology as well as entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And for you, Grace, what would you like to give as an advice to the young entrepreneur here in the audience from your experience?
Okay, I may be preaching a different thing. I'm a mentor for HKLSS, and the last 2 years I heard a lot of young people when they graduate they want to join Emmanuel's company. I want to be in investment, VC. Okay, my one piece of advice is Emmanuel you did start your startup, and also you went through some research. So I think some experience in that area would be helpful. Just with a bachelor's degree or even you've done a project, I think it's not strong enough for you to understand the tear and fear as a starter, as an entrepreneur. So don't go into VC as soon as you graduate. Do some research, have a stronger background, and be able to understand the challenges as a startup before you become on the other side.
Yeah. And to you, Manuel, one key improvement in Hong Kong ecosystem and one advice to the entrepreneurs.
Key improvement, I think, is to make the hurdle for grants and for different investment sources, make it lower and have more, because it's a numbers game. And you need to be in that bigger numbers game. You need to have a built-in model for failure. You need to expect maybe 20-30% of your companies to fail that are getting these grants, that are getting, and then if you have a high tolerance for failure, then the statistical model for returns, such that over time you will reap rewards as a society. I think number one. Number two, I completely agree with what you just said, because I get a lot of resumes as well, and I'm like, what can I do with these younguns, because they're just going to become BSBs. We call them buy-side spoiled brats. You know, they've never spent a single day in the lab. They've never built a company, never negotiated with the FDA, and somehow you're supposed to become a VC and tell entrepreneurs what to do? How does that work, right? So I know. I think if you come over to me and you looking for give me your resume, I'll throw you to a portfolio company. And most likely before I even consider giving you a job. But yeah, thank you.
And Eric, for you, a key advice to these young entrepreneurs in the audience?
Yeah, so about 30 years ago, I moved from academia to a private sector, starting my first company. Very short. The only advice I'm giving you, follow your dreams, first of all. Never give up. Life is short. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and give a hand of applause.